Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo 1551. I'm your host, Johnny Hellcat, and with me today are Minions Sanguine.
Good evening, all.
And the Hey Camel.
Hello.
So how are you guys doing?
I'll let
Sanguine,
Camel go first.
Oh, okay. Kind of tired. I've been up since about 7 this morning. Had to take care of appointments and whatnot. Running around. Got to do some grocery shopping tomorrow, but other than that, doing all right.
And you, Sanguine?
I'm doing rather well. I had a relaxing first two of my weekend off, and looking forward to the third one also being equally relaxing. It's the first time that I've actually had all 3 days of my weekend off in a while.
All right.
How about yourself, Johnny?
I'm not doing too bad today. Bit of a nausea spill at work, but spell, not spill. Spills spills are completely different.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, it could have been a nausea spill, depending on how bad of a nausea spell it was.
But no, it was as far as the nausea goes, it wasn't too bad today. It was more of the feeling rather than the action. And yeah, it's not terrible.
Are they any closer to figuring out what the origin of it is?
No, I have to go in for an endoscopy now. So that they are going to actually, yeah. If I'll bring it up, I could go over my results.
Ah,
I can bring those up. Let's see here.
and that noise in the
I'll bring
background
that up.
isn't too loud, is it?
Nope.
Are you bathroom streaming right now, Sanguine?
No, I'm not. I'm filling up a pitcher of water to wash my rice.
He turned on the bathroom sinks, and now he's going to be. We may be needing the spirit boxes soon.
No, if I end up moving towards the bathroom, I become much softer than I sound right now, because that is on the entire opposite side of my apartment, whereas my kitchen's just right next to me.
Oh, do you guys have anything laid out to talk about, or are we just flying by the seat of our pants?
We're just flying. The LeBron thing kind of took me not really by surprise, but it's there.
I mean, I was surprised I hadn't heard of it.
How big are the seat of your pants if you're able to fly by them?
You know, I never stopped to think about that, Sanguine. Thank you. Now I'm going to have to set aside some portion of time to figure that out.
Yeah. Do you have just like a 4-foot ass? Is that what's going on? That way you get a fair amount of fabric?
Well, it depends on the speed,
I'm not that
too.
big a boy.
I mean, you got lift versus dragon rotation. It's a lot of work, a lot of stuff to work out.
Yeah.
You guys know I was like a C plus B minus student math wise, right? This is a conversation that is beyond me already.
I have you know that I only know about lift versus dragon rotation is because of me, myself, and Irene.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I remember watching that movie like once.
The question is, do you have enough math in order to do the ignoble research for the figuring out the friction coefficient of sheep on various surfaces?
I am not Welsh or a Kiwi, so I'm not going to attempt that math either.
You got it in the second go. It was the Kiwis, if I remember correctly. And the way that they did it was they tied sheep to the back of various vehicles with a spring scale in between, and they took readings as they just drug, that's a proper past tense, if I remember correctly, drug the sheep across the terrain in various settings. It's one of those, what the fuck? What? Why did you get funding for that? How did you get funding? What the fuck is going on?
Well, I have no segue for this, but I actually had something I pulled up while I was scrolling through Twitter. Do we want to talk about the LeBron thing first, or?
Yeah, we can bring that up.
So, do you want to lay it out, Sanguine?
This is something that happened last month. There was a basketball game where the home team announcer, you said it was the Wizards.
Yes, Glenn Consor for the Washington Wizards was calling a game between the Wizards and the Houston Rockets.
Yep. So there was a player with a name that was identical to a player that this announcer was familiar with, and the only difference was this player had a junior tacked on at the end of the name. It's fairly common in the NBA for second and third generation players. So he went, oh, shit, I know this name. I think I know who his father is. The player got 3 three-pointer shots in a row, including the game-winning basket. And the announcer said...
I can pull that up. 1 second.
Can you pull up the exact quote?
Well, LeBron quote tweeted somebody who put that quote in their tweet. Kevin Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled that trigger right at the right time. End quote.
Yep, because, like I said, well-known basketball player, same name that he knew, was very familiar with the career of, had done a very similar thing.
A player that had actually played for Washington at one point.
Yep, there's one major problem.
In the long, long ago.
Yep, there's one major problem with all that, though. This kid was not that guy's son. In fact, the Kevin Porter Jr. that he is descended from was tried for murder and then shot to death at a later date.
Yes. He spent 4 years in prison on a first-degree murder charge, which he got out of because a witness came forward to back him up in his claim that he accidentally pulled the trigger. So, poor trigger discipline. I'm sure Assassin's going to love that.
Yep. So, this came out. And
then, yes, he was later shot to death 5 times. He was shot 5 times to death outside of a bar in 2004.
Yep. The announcer found out about this and immediately sent a letter or message to the player going, I am terribly sorry. I thought that you were related to this Kevin Porter. I did not realize that it was a different Kevin Porter. My mistake. I did not mean any offense. I thought I was just remembering the cool shit that your father did. This other player who I thought was your father. And the response back was effectively that Kevin Porter went, wait, you said something about a father? Yeah, I didn't even know about this. LeBron James heard about this, though. And
would you like me to read that tweet?
Yes, go for it.
Oh, he thought this was cool, huh? Nah, we ain't going for this. Sorry, but this ain't going to fly. How insensitive can you be to say something like this? Beat it, man. I pray for you, but there's no place in our beautiful game for you. And there's exclamation points. Almost every other sentence, pretty much.
Yep. So
I didn't put the correct emphasis on it, but that's the word for word. This is court reporter style recitation.
It's okay. LeBron rarely puts the proper emphasis on the correct syllable, though, so it doesn't really matter that he didn't put it on the right sentence. In fact, it's more form. So
that tweet is actually, it's going to sound way more shouty than I just did it. So,
yep.
You know, all you headphone users, you're welcome.
So he starts blowing up, demands for this guy to get fired, starts effectively calling him a racist and all kinds of shit, even though he also admits that, yeah, he realizes that it was a fuck up, but effectively sometimes you're allowed to fuck up and other times you aren't, and this should be an instance where you aren't allowed to fuck up. even though this is a completely minor fuck up that the player didn't even know about until the guy went to him to apologize for what he had said. But there was a point where he was talking to reporters later on, and LeBron was asked about his stance on this, and he doubled down that the man should be fired. And his argument boils down to one of the most insane things that you could possibly imagine him saying, which was effectively, there's a lot of black kids within the NBA, so you shouldn't use any sort of mention of trigger, because you have to assume at least some of their parents have killed someone.
That's still ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not finding any of the stuff about later comments, just that one tweet. But in the announcer's defense, I'll start by saying that I think he fucked up. I think we can all agree he fucked up, and
so I can actually...
he should have looked into it before he let that comment fly. But in his defense, the Kevin Porter he was thinking of, who had played for Washington, was not just some journeyman player, right? Apparently, he led the league in assists 4 times. He was the first player to record 1,000 assists in a season, and there were some other accolades that gentleman had. I don't have in front of me at the moment.
Yeah, he was.
I think he only player to score like. I think he was only player to have like a 30-25, like 30 points and 25 assists in a game. Oh, the other one was he had recorded 29 assists in one game.
Yep.
Which I think was, if that was not the record, it was damn close.
So I can give you the exact quote from LeBron, because I just pulled up the video and I can parrot it. It starts with, "So if you're doing your homework on any of these kids that's in this league, that word that he used for that kid to make that game-winning shot, that sentence he used, no matter if he knew it was his dad or not, should have never been used in the first place. Never been used." How is that not? You should assume, since there's a lot of black people in the NBA, at least some of their parents have killed someone.
Well, I mean, he did mention doing your homework, right? Or due diligence at the beginning of that quote.
At the very beginning of the quote, there was something like, if you've done your homework on any of the players in this league, even if you know that that's his dad or not. So...
Okay, yeah.
It quickly goes from just talking about this specific instance to, if you're talking about any NBA player, you should have... The black kids.
Well, yeah, that's supremely stupid on his part, because, again, you're talking about shooting a basketball.
Yeah. It's just, what the fuck, LeBron? How are you standing up saying that you're going against someone that did something racist? And in your defense for what you said, you say something unbelievably fucking racist. How do you manage this?
I'm not the racist one. It's them black kids with shooty fathers. I'm not the racist one, because that guy's the racist one for not realizing that when you have this many black people, at least some of their parents have killed someone. What? Fucking what, LeBron? And I know
this is from January 30th. Do they not have anything more recent? I was looking for the Lakers record this season.
Mm-hmm.
And as of end of last month, January 30th, they were 24 and 26th, ninth place in the Western Conference. So not in the playoffs, but they're just outside of playoff contention. But it's only February. They got what? I think the finals would be in May.
I think that's about right.
They've gone a little over half the season. So maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe it's a losing team, and maybe they're not sweating it yet until later in the season, trying to make it in the playoffs. Maybe that's why they have a losing record. They're not concentrating on fucking basketball.
Yeah, because this is like the third time this year alone, and we're only in February, that he's ranted and railed against either a commentator, a owner, or the entire league itself.
Well, I think LeBron's like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts him at 36, 37. Oh, maybe pushing 38 at this point. But he's towards the end of his play-in days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can see why he's getting loud now. He didn't used to talk this kind of shit when he's a younger man.
I think it's also something to do with he realizes that now if he talks this shit, people will just clap and cheer for him talking this shit. It's not exactly brave in the year 2022 to say that person's a racist.
Well, I mean, in a few years, he won't be in the league anymore, and then he'll have to find relevance some other way. I mean, the dude's worth, isn't he like $1 billion athlete, really? I mean, between endorsement deals, contracts from the NBA, I mean, he's been in movies. I believe he owns a football club. Or like part ownership, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's got to worry about losing money. So yeah, he can just run off at the mouth, just say whatever he wants, and we get to point and laugh for the stupid shit that comes out of his mouth. But speaking of stupid shit coming out of people's mouths, finally found a segue.
Fantastic.
This is from Newsweek. I don't care who wins. Seth Rogen says Oscars aren't important anymore. I've got news for you, Seth. They were never important. They just used to be entertaining to people for some reason.
I would say they were entertaining to people for a while. And before that, they actually awarded really good movies. So people were interested in what movie won the Oscar in case they hadn't seen it. And it just started being, if it's about slavery and enough people are whipped, congratulations, you have an Oscar.
I mean, he does say, in here, you want me to read from the article, or just you want like his quotes from it?
Either way for me. Which way would you prefer doing?
Well, I actually haven't sat down and read any Newsweek in a while, and I think this is one of the. That's probably the reason you can subscribe. I think they're one of those that do the like however many free articles and then you're locked out.
Mm-hmm.
Just days after the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced the nominees for the 2022 Academy Awards, did you guys hear about them announcing nominees?
I did not.
I think I saw like one person talking about one or two tweets maybe about the nominees. I can't even tell you who was nominated for like Best Picture. I don't know what's. I think Don't Look Up is one of them, and I've only heard about it. I haven't seen it.
It was a show.
Actor Seth Rogen questioned if the long-vaunted award show is even important anymore. Well, I mean, he's late to the party, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
In a recent interview with Insider about his upcoming Super Bowl commercial for Lay's potato chips, the Pam and Tommy star... Have you guys seen or heard about Pam and Tommy?
I will not be watching that.
Sanguine, apparently it's a movie about the love affair that was Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee.
No, it's about the stealing of the sex tape.
Again,
okay.
It's about the love affair of Pam and Tommy Lee. I'm trying to be classy here, damn it.
I was trying
It's
to
Pam and
figure
Tommy
out,
Lee. There is no class.
I was trying to figure out
that's
when
the joke,
either
Johnny.
of them had been morbidly obese.
Yeah, in a recent interview with Insider about his potato chip commercial, that they did an interview about a potato chip commercial for the Super Bowl. Wow. I don't read Insider either, in case you hadn't noticed.
You mean with the hard-hitting journalism about potato chip commercials for the Super Bowl? You don't tune in weekly to make sure that you're up to all the latest and greatest news?
I mean, you know, if I wanted to hear about Seth Rogen talking about potato chips, I could just read about it in High Times, too. And that's probably got more information that I would find useful than Insider.
You haven't set up your morning alarm to just start reading the latest from Insider and letting you know about everything going on in Hollywood?
God, no. Anyway, he lamented over the fact that over the Oscars and their place within popular culture. I don't get why movie people care so much if other people care what awards we give ourselves. I thought this was interesting because I actually kind of agreed with Seth Rogen, you know? I don't care who wins the automobile awards. No other industry expects everyone to care about what awards they shower upon themselves. I mean, you know, you do see in those car commercials where they're talking about the J.D. Power and Associates Award, and that, you know, they brag about winning that however many times, you know, it does
But that
psychologically
actually
do something,
has,
doesn't it?
That actually has some standards to it.
I never looked into J.D. Power and Associates. I thought it was just another bullshit award too, but the psychology of a bullshit car award is more powerful to me than a bullshit movie award.
To the point that it is bullshit. At least it's bullshit with numbers.
With engineering, yes, I'll give you that. Maybe people just don't care anymore, Rogan added. Maybe they did for a while and they stopped caring. And why should they? I mean, again, I agree with Seth Rogen. I'm just surprised that he's self-aware about this, but not, you know, having his car broken into.
I'm just waiting for him to completely flip it, and it's not because it's just absolute meaningless bullshit, but it's meaningless bullshit that's white supremacist. Because that just seems like the only angle that he could be taking.
Does he have any more quotes in here?
I'd be gobsmacked if it isn't an Oscars too white moment.
Well, no, because apparently this year they're not having a host for the Oscars,
which was the only good part. If the
while the Academy, while the Academy Awards have served as the premier American award show for nearly 100 years, waning conversation and plummeting ratings have painted a much starker Oscars picture. In 2018, the 90th Academy Awards were watched by 26.5 million viewers, marking the award show's smallest television audience and the first time it dropped below 30 million viewers, according to Nielsen data. A year later, following comedian Kevin Hart's decision to step down as Oscars host, when a series of his old homophobic tweets resurfaced...
Yeah, he stepped down. That's what it was.
I mean, they may have twisted his arm just a little bit. Just a wee tiny bit.
He stepped down in the same way the girls on Epstein Island were willing.
The Academy moved forward without a replacement, and the 91st Academy Awards went hostless. The television ratings increased, but the award show's 29.6 million members marked its second smallest audience in history. So wait, this was okay. So 2019, he stepped down. Okay. So that just they confused me because they said a year later, and then they talked about awards number 91st award.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in 2019, the year before the pandemic, how many people watched in 2020? Oh, 2020 brought in a new low for the Oscars with just 23.6 million viewers tuning in. So you're telling me like everyone's on lockdown and even less people tuned in? Wow.
I think the only way that they could actually draw a crowd is if they just alternate 2 comedians to be the hosts, and those comedians are Ricky Gervais, give him complete head, allow him to call whoever the fuck he wants a pedophile, and Jimmy Carr.
Well, they have 2021's numbers in too. Price is Right. You guys want to see who gets closer?
So what was 2020 again?
It was the new low of 23.6 million people. Lowest in Oscars history.
I'll let Johnny go first, and then I'll get mine.
I got sidetracked by stupidity. What's going on?
Where you and Sanguine are seeing who gets closer, Price is Right style, without going over, to guessing the viewership for the 2021 COVID delayed Oscars.
Okay, and so we're going by
Nielsen data.
Okay,
and
so
give him the 2020 as well. That way he has a benchmark.
yeah.
2020 was the lowest in history with 23.6 million viewers to that date.
Okay. So I will say 15 million.
I'll say 10.
Sanguine is closest without going over at 10 million. The correct answer was 10.4.
Oof.
A 56% decrease from
I
the year
almost
before.
got it spot on. Fuck yeah.
I believe you win both prizes now.
Along with rapidly declining ratings, op-eds in Esquire and the Washington Post called into question the lasting significance of the Academy Awards and argued that the awards have steered into territory that film buffs and casual viewers don't find appealing. No shit. Titled, Does Anybody Care About the Oscars Anymore? And Why Do the Oscars Matter? Well, to answer the first question, no, because I didn't even know that was an article. And 2, obviously they don't, because I didn't know that was an article either.
Mm-hmm.
Both op-eds cited the symbiotic nature of the Academy Awards, and like Rogan, speculated that movie fans aren't as interested in awards as actors and the Academy itself. You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier this month,
it's a routine thing where they'll give someone an award that isn't like a lifetime achievement award or anything like that. No, they'll just give someone an award because it's their time. No, fuck you. The only time that it's time for you to get an award is if you actually deserve it.
Earlier this month, ABC announced that unlike the last 3 Oscars, the 94th awards
Whoa,
will.
what the
hell
fuck was that?
What?
There was a scream of something just right into the microphone.
Oh my god.
It was like someone
gone?
tried to jump scare.
I didn't hear anything.
It was instantaneous. It's like you're watching one of those jump scare videos from the early aughts.
Did you sneeze?
Me?
I didn't.
No. I was trying to read the article.
Yeah,
The only thing I could think, Johnny.
No, like.
I mean, there's a dog snoring in the background. Other than that, nothing going on this end.
That was bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
continue
shall I continue?
on now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, ABC announced, unlike the last 3 Oscars, the 94th Academy Awards will feature a host, but did not reveal who will take center stage when the award show takes place March 27th at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, California. So they don't have a confirmed host. Oh, in light of the awards having yet to confirm a host, Rogan. Okay, this is bugging me. They have misspelled this motherfucker's name.
Did they spell it Rogaine?
No, they spelled it like his name, Rogan, with an E earlier, and then they spelled it like Joe Rogan with an A just now. And this is somebody who gets paid to write this shit. Rogan was asked what he thought would be an ideal candidate for the gig. That's a tough one, he told Insider. I'm sure there are comedians out there that want to, right? So he just broadly says comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And responding to an inquiry about whether he'd been approached to host in the past, Rogan acknowledged the possibility but failed to confirm or deny if it ever actually happened, telling Insider that maybe a soft conversation was the extent of any hosting negotiations. Well, I'm glad that's as far as it ever got, was a soft conversation, because that would be painful to watch. Seth Rogen hosting the Oscars.
You don't want to just listen to the host stoner laugh for the entire time? That isn't your dream Oscar event?
No. I don't have a dream Oscar event.
The only dream Oscar event I have is to actually be asleep.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I just thought it was funny. It's like, Hollywood's most famous stoner is finally coming around to stuff that people seem to have figured out at least 3 years ago, if not longer. 2018 was the first time it dipped below 30 million people. So 4 years now, it's been just on the decline.
Maybe it will be the 27th time someone breaks into his car that he goes, okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, like no, there's no, unless you are receiving an award yourself, there's no reason to care about any industry circle jerk. So.
And even then, I'd probably be like, I'm going to accept the award from over here.
Oh, wow, Frost. Are you trying to, pull teeth? He says 2022 Oscars, hosted by Trevor Noah and Stephen Colbert. We dare you to enjoy it.
Yep. Like I said, the only way that I think that they could get people to be interested...
With a dance number by James Corbin.
No. Like I said, just trade back and forth between those two comedians, Jimmy Carr and I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
Ricky Gervais.
Now. Yes, Gervais.
Well, I mean, Gervais did host the Golden Globes for 4 or 5 years in a row.
And every year, he just ripped the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, that was the only time that you actually cared about it. Was and I never sat down to watch it. I caught clips later of his monologues.
Yeah, it would be, what did he say this year?
I did not give a shit about who actually won awards.
Yeah. But that's the only way that they could get people talking. Give Jimmy Carr and Gervais just alternating years and tell them, no holds barred, we will not censor any of it, say what the fuck you want to say.
Well, I mean, that would be part of it, yes. That would be a good start. But you'd also have to get these people to shut the fuck up when they actually won an award.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care about your politics. I don't care about your pet projects. Thank the producers, thank the director, thank your hair and makeup people, your agent, your mama, and get the fuck off stage.
There's only one actor that I would be somewhat okay hearing about their pet project from, and that is Gary Sinise. Actually has a good foundation.
Oh, the Gary Sinise Foundation? Yes.
Yep.
I want to hear the Lieutenant Dan band. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see one of those live performances. What's that all about?
I do have an Oscar story.
The Grouch, the Naked Gold Man, or just some dude named Oscar?
Actually, it would involve a grouch. My friend was supposed to meet up with his girlfriend, and they were going to watch the Oscars at her sister's family's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was recently singled, and my friend's girlfriend's sister was recently singled. So they're thinking, hey, it's a good idea. Let's bring this bitter asshole to the Oscar thing. I could give two shits about the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
like most good Americans. Congratulations, Johnny.
And I'm like, well, the highlight would be I'm meeting someone new. The low light would be I'm just going to end up drunk and
watching the Oscars with strangers.
Getting sent home early. So we were all meeting at his apartment, and they introduced us, and she immediately was just like, ugh. And I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. So we go on a beer run before the start, and I'm in the back of the car. She's driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting next to my friend, and her sister's sitting in the front seat. And I go, "You're an okay driver, right?" And she goes, "Yes," but just like I was just being witty.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that feeling when you put it in drive and it engages. So you have that vehicle shake. Well, as soon as it hit that, it was just perfect timing. I just go, ah! Like, just to throw her off.
Mm-hmm.
That moment was camped in her brain.
She just hated you from that second on, didn't she?
Yes. It was then, and anytime that there was like, yeah, let's all hang out. He's not coming, is he?
Nice.
I'm like, I want to now. But yeah.
I mean, considering the population of Montana, Johnny's, by this story at least, he's lucky to be married now.
Yes.
I was
Very
half
much so.
expecting. So that's how I met my wife.
Oh no, it was funny because we weren't even hanging out. We didn't hang out all the time. But when we had time to, he'd always tell me, he's just like, I don't know what you did, but she is so mad at you. And I'm like, what did I even do? She's like, yeah, that one time in the car when you grabbed the seat for safety. It just, she did not let that go.
What are you willing to bet her ex did that as well? Her ex was terrified of her driving. So that just got imprinted upon you when you did it.
I became her rock'em sock'em opponent.
Yep.
No, it was absolutely hilarious. It was quite possibly my favorite joke of the entire evening. And
I've never really had anybody have that kind of reaction to me. And I'm sure there's been instances where I probably deserved it.
Well, on the plus side, I was de-invited from the Oscar party before the Oscar party even began.
Nice.
Oh, so you took my advice that I gave to Polly about, avoiding Thanksgiving dinners and shit. Okay.
And this was before my internet time, so yeah.
Yeah.
I read your mind 7 years in the future.
Well, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, just make an ass of yourself so you don't get invited is much, much older than you or me. I'm just following the old wisdom, that's all.
It's a shame. She's cute, but she was a real shitbag.
Yep, dodged a bullet.
And a terrible driver.
Actually, I didn't even pay attention. We made it there and back, and we were still alive. All it was, I figured an icebreaker at the least. It would have been like, oh, this guy's, He's kind of a
Now,
dick.
Johnny,
He's
you
kind of
know
a
women
dick, but
can't
he's kind of a
drive,
sense of
so they're
humor.
touchy about that.
Well, I mean, the slogan is "Women drivers, no survivors," but I mean, come on. But I figured it was something like she's just like, okay, it was a dick statement, but he's a funny guy. But no, I didn't even get that. I got this guy is the bane of my existence, and I was like, all right, how can I make this worse?
Just steer into the skid, huh?
Like I said, I am willing to bet that it is something that her and her ex constantly got into it about. He would always comment about her driving, and then you commented about her driving too.
And this guy
Now
doesn't
she's
even
just a
know.
raging bull dyke.
Now, I remember back in college, I can't give you like any instances, like,
Her dying
off
words
the top
like,
of my...
I'm still good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you like any for instances, but I know there had to have been times, because I was pretty well tanked most of the time I was in college. But there had to have been plenty of occasions where I said something that should have gotten that reaction at somebody. And for whatever reason, it got blamed on my best friend.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, I could say something absolutely horrible to somebody, and they get mad at him for it. And like, he came to me like, did you say, yada yada to so-and-so? I mean, sounds like something I might say. Why? Because they're pissed off at me now. Why? Well, I don't know. Oh, well, I mean, you better figure out how to make that right, huh? Anyway,
Very
I'm going to the
nice.
cafeteria.
No,
So, okay.
I was going to say, going with a tweet thread that Terry and I were part of, I learned a while ago when it comes to saying something, it's better just not to.
Mm-hmm.
I was dared, and I was exhausted. I'm not going to put the blame on that, but I'm just going to say I was tired. And I was told that I should tell this gal, it's like I was dared, a beer. I was 19 at the time. To say that this lady her attitude reminded me of Miss Piggy, because she was Miss Piggy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I should
Did
have
you respond with, "Oh, Kermie"?
well, and to not to steal another comics line, but what I should have said was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What I did say was, "You are Miss Piggy."
Nice.
I edited out a few words when I probably shouldn't have.
Yep.
And so I turned the missile that would have been you remind me, your personality reminds me of that of Miss Piggy, turned into the nuclear missile.
Just gonna ride that bomb all the way to the mushroom cloud, huh?
Exactly. And I went, "You're Miss Piggy," and the reaction was rather. It was a bit
Sudden and violent.
It was a bit much.
So I found something else on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how many stories I can tell about me being an asshole. But so yesterday it was announced that Snoop Dogg has bought Death Row Records. Did you guys hear about that?
I did not.
I have not either.
Death Row Records, label that he got his big break at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Suge Knight. Everyone knows about Suge Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, well, they've been dangled from the rooftops.
Haven't been yet, allegedly. But yeah, so he bought. He's now the big dog at Death Row. That was like posted by TMZ 22 hours ago, right? A bunch of other people talking about it yesterday. Well, not even 24 hours later, Reuters got a story. An unidentified woman has filed a civil lawsuit that accuses American rapper Snoop Dogg of sexual assault and battery after she attended one of his concerts in 2013.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, I'm not going to quote Kanye. I'm just going to let you, lead your own minds in that general direction.
No, you can quote it. He's not saying that she's a gold digger. But she ain't messing with no. And all cut off there.
What?
All I'm saying is, you never would have heard about this if Suge was still running the show. That bitch would have been hanging off a balcony by a clear stiletto, and she wouldn't have said shit. I just thought it was funny, the timing, because I was like, didn't I see something yesterday about Snoop Dogg? He's going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show on Sunday. He just bought Death Row. Now, bam.
So
I'll give her credit. She's striking while the iron is hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say.
She's going for that money.
But also, 2013. Was Snoop Dogg not rich in 2013?
True.
God damn.
She bided her time. But you guys have heard about the other major fucketry in the news recently, right? When it came to the Olympics.
I heard that they were skiing next to a coal-fired power plant.
Yes, there was the coal-fired power plant issue. There was also the fact that a lot of people that they won first place and then they were disqualified for interesting reasons.
Was all of the second place people like Chinese?
Effectively, it was.
Oh no shit!
Yeah. In 3 of the competitions that someone was disqualified after winning for absolute horseshit. One of the times it was effectively they were disqualified for passing a person in a race. And it boiled down to they passed a Chinese person in a race, and that meant that they were disqualified. But, so, a bunch of people got disqualified in, 3 of the competitions that they were disqualified in. The second place person was Chinese, and they won. In one of the instances, the first place got disqualified, so it went to the second place. And then the second place got disqualified, and it went to the third place. Guess who was third place?
Huh. I'm not surprised, but it sounds like it's really just kind of blatant.
Yeah, and the best article about it was from a South Korean journalist, and their article was 100 times the phrase, "Let's just give it all to the Chinese," repeated.
All work and no play.
It was just them saying, "Might as well give everything to the Chinese," repeated 100 times. And that was their entire article about these people getting disqualified. Then there was also the Chinese brute squad that I'm not really sure I can say abducted a Dutch journalist in the middle of a report, but abducted a Dutch journalist in the middle of a report?
See, I've not heard anything about any of this. When I have not gone so far as to go ahead and just mute the words Winter Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But I just scroll so fast through my timeline, I guess, when I do look at Twitter, that I've only seen a few articles about it. It's here's the medal counts. I don't give a shit. Scroll, Oh, yeah. This guy, This guy won gold in figure skating. Like, he's an American. I was like, his last name is Chin. I don't remember what his first name is.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's from like Utah. It's like, okay, good for him. I don't care about figure skating when it's women. You think I give a shit about men? No.
Yep.
Ice dancing does not appeal to me. Sorry. And then, you know, of course, I saw memes about the power plant with the ski slopes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did the Jamaica bobsled team, do they go this year, or is that like going to be something happening in the future?
Goddamn.
Because like if Jamaica's got the bobsled team there this year, I might tune in for that, but just that.
See if Cool Runnings has a sequel.
But no, like I had not paid it. You know, I hadn't paid any attention to the Winter Olympics. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the Summer Olympics.
Cool Runnings too. Oh, so sorry.
Yep. But yeah, it's just absolutely fucking ridiculous, the shit that's been going on that I've heard of and seen. Like the Dutch journalist one, there's a video of him live on air, and then suddenly a bunch of Chinese men in Chinese military uniform come up and start just shoving him out of frame. And his response is kind of like what are you guys doing? Just, can't you see I'm doing a report here? What's going on? And they drag him off the frame. On air. And it's just what the fuck is happening?
Oh, this is interesting. In a major first for the Department of Defense, officials successfully tested a Black Hawk helicopter flight with no human pilot.
That's a big-ass drone now.
Yep. But it's like, if they're announcing it now, they've been able to do it for a while, I have to imagine. And it's Now This is reporting about it, too. It's not like Reuters, AP, it's Now This.
My bet is that they're reporting on it now because they've done the math and they've gone, okay, when did Afghanistan fall? When did the Chinese start getting... Shit, we need to... Okay, time to announce that we can do this.
But... No, again, with the going back to the Olympics, I don't know why anybody cares outside of the people competing and like their immediate family and friends.
See, I can.
I just like the fact that like it's NBC, if I'm not mistaken, that they paid like a ridiculous amount of money for the rights to broadcast the Olympics. That's like both winter and summer, right?
Yep.
I just have to smile thinking that they're taking a bath on the advertising and stuff for that.
Yeah, I can understand being interested in them most years because it is watching the best in each competition compete against the best in each competition. It's the same reason why people really interested in watching the NFL or NBA, because you're watching people that have honed their bodies and spent their lives learning how to do this shit. And it's impressive what the fuck a human body can actually do.
I mean, yes, but some of the events, winter and summer, they're too many, first of all. And secondly, some of the events are just downright silly. Like I know it's a trope, it's maybe hackish to point out curling, but come on, I've known about curling for years now. I still don't understand what the fucking point is.
It's kind of like shuffleboard, only you have two people brushing the floor in front of it.
Well, I'm still a good 30 years away from caring about fucking shuffleboard either, Sanguine. I'm sure as shit not going to do it on ice. maybe if I have a death wish, I'll do it on a cruise ship at some point, but not when it's freezing temperatures. No.
But yeah, there are sports that are more interesting to watch than other sports. Absolutely, I definitely agree with that. But I can understand why people watch the Olympics if they're interested in any of the sports that are within the Olympics. Absolutely, watch the Olympics because you're watching the best from every nation compete, and it's cool shit when it's done that way. I think that what we should do is go back to older rules for the Olympics, because there used to be the policy that certain competitions were military members from each country, and that in every competition you couldn't have professional athletes, which made it more interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm not all that interested in watching professional. Well, I mean, sometimes it's all right. Sometimes I think probably be more interesting to see amateurs doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a team of professional athletes that brought back bronze. Was it 2004 Athens Games in basketball? As a sport that Americans invented, that is a national disgrace.
We lost to Canada last time. Well, not to Canada, to France. We lost to France last time.
Wait, last time?
Yeah, the last Olympics. We lost to France.
See, I didn't. I was completely tuned out. I forgot all about Tokyo.
Yeah.
They lost to France. The U.S. men, the U.S. American men's team.
Yes,
lost
the U.S.
to France.
American men's team, the All-Star team, lost to France.
The end is nigh, people. Grab a helmet.
Yep.
Also, one of the things that I do really like about the Olympics is that the host country gets to pick a sport that they want that year, which always leads to some of the most interesting sports being chosen.
Okay, you say interesting. Give me some for instances here.
Let me quickly look up a list, because I know that there have been some fucking weird ones.
Handball?
See, I say we go back to like the old school Olympics. It should be like a track meet that lasts one day every 4 fucking years, okay? You know?
Okay.
An actual marathon.
Well, no, I mean that's one of the ones I would actually keep, one of the events. But yeah, I would junk a whole bunch of other ones.
Okay, so let's see. Where is the list?
Now, see, Terry asks, he says, has Scotland ever demanded caber tossing? Now, if they had that in the Olympics, I'd give it a watch, because that is a feat.
Oh, yeah,
but I don't give a shit about fencing. I'm sorry, this is the 21st century. We have guns. You don't need to be, dueling with swords at dawn, okay?
No, fencing's kind of fucking cool to watch. Keep fencing.
Provisionally, maybe, okay. Probationary sport. All right. Give me some of these other interesting ones. I'll tell you yay or nay.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to keep fencing, you might as well keep kendo.
Okay, that's a martial art. Fair enough.
Kendo, I think, was Japan's choice for its addition. I'm trying to find the full list, because I know someone has to be keeping the list of them. And it's just a thing that every year the host gets to choose one sport that is added to the game. And they just pick whatever they think their national sport is, or whatever sport their nation has.
Hoping to get a gold medal.
Of winning. Yeah, effectively. It's the way that you hope to get a gold medal, but there are upsets in it fairly often where, like, someone will choose, I don't know, let's say football. America might choose football. And another country might actually put together a fucking amazing football team.
Now we mean American football, correct?
Yes, American football, not soccer.
We tried that. We called it NFL Europe. It didn't work.
Yeah, but it happens every so often that the host game or the host team will lose the host game. And where the fuck is this list? Come on, what is the way to host nation Olympics?
Now, like they had what softball was for women. That was in the Olympics for a while, wasn't it? I don't know if they axed that one or not.
Motherfucker.
But I was always wondering, like, why don't we have like a baseball tournament in the Olympics? You know, I mean they have they have like a tournament kind of deal of national baseball teams.
Okay, so it's
At least in the Americas.
more than one sport, apparently. You get to add, and it's gone up and down depending on the rules. So I've been able to find the demonstration sport. That's what they're dubbed. And it's each time the host nation chooses the demonstration sport. So, for instance, how far back do you want me to start? What Olympics year? Shall we start?
Let's. I mean, it's every 4 years, right? Or are we doing both winter and summer games?
It's every 4 years. It looks like. They do have the Winter Olympics editions as well.
Let's just do summer for now. Let's. I mean, you want to go back as far as 2000?
Okay, so for a while there was sadly a bunch of nations that declined.
Because wasn't 2000 Sydney?
So
or
2000 was Sydney, and Australia apparently declined, as did Athens, and a bunch of nations declined for a period of time. Then
they declined to pick a sport?
They declined to pick a host choice sport, yes, a demonstration sport. In 2020, the Tokyo Olympics chose... Hold on one.
Wait, we jumped all the way from... I said 2000, we jumped all the way to 2020?
Because for 2000 to 2016, they declined.
Oh, wow.
So
I can definitely hear the dog.
Yeah, they declined
the snoring, sorry.
5 years in a row. But in 2020, they had baseball and softball, karate, sport climbing, surfing, and skateboarding were added as demonstration events.
Oh, okay. So they did bring in baseball. All right.
Yep. Then
skateboarding. What baseball, softball, skateboarding, what else? Sorry, the dog distracted me.
Karate, sport climbing, surfing, and skateboarding. So they did some sport climbing, they did some surfing, and they did karate.
I mean, karate and baseball, I get. Okay. The surfing and skateboarding, not so much. Sport climbing, like what? Like a rock wall?
Effectively, yeah. It was I
was thinking like one of those like wacky Japanese game shows where they got like the obstacle course.
They
set like American Ninja something or another.
Extremely difficult climbing wall that was made rather tall that had a bunch of different changes in angle, so some like overhangs and shit like that, and it was people racing to the top.
Okay, that might be worth a watch.
Yep. And some other examples, I'll go back to 1992, they had Bosk Pelota, which is the interesting racquetball game, effectively. It's
Wait, 92? What wasn't that? Like
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Yeah. The dream team.
So it's Bosk Pelota, which is this interesting racquetball-like game, roller hockey, and taekwondo.
The Spanish chose
Taekwondo, yes. Don't know why they chose taekwondo.
Because when I think Spanish,
taekwondo.
I think Korean martial arts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the one before that had badminton, baseball, bowling, judo, and taekwondo. That one made sense because that one was in Seoul. So makes sense that they would have the Korean martial art. I think Barcelona just wanted a second bite at the apple when it came to taekwondo. But yeah, they add in a bunch of interesting ones, like Tokyo in 64 added in Budo, which is a martial art.
Oh, okay. Well, I have not heard of this martial art. What sets it apart from other ones?
I am pulling it up right now. So Budo is it's effectively a large combination of a bunch of different martial arts. They were able to sneak in a bunch of martial arts by just saying, we're adding in Budo, and the rest of the world went, okay. So they were able to add in effectively Aikido, Iaido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Karate, Kendo, Kyudo.
It's a Japanese term describing modern Japanese martial arts. Literally translates to the martial way.
Yep. So
the way of.
They snuck in a bunch of competitions by saying that they were adding one thing. Which, good on you, Japan. That's fucking clever. There's a whole bunch of them that are games that I've never heard of, like Kabaddi. It's apparently an ancient Indian contact sport. I've never heard of Kabaddi, but Kabaddi has been played several times. Then there's Amsterdam added a sport, or added... How many of these sports are just effectively played in Amsterdam and nowhere else? So they added in a Frisian sport. It is only ever played in Frisia, effectively. It's a handball game called Kassen, something like that.
Johnny, do you have any idea where Frisia is?
The lint trap? No.
Frisia is a part of the Netherlands. It's a region. There's Friesland in the Netherlands, which is sometimes just called Frisia, and the inhabitants are known as Frisians. So,
have they ever heard of hair conditioner?
That was a terrible, terrible joke. That was.
I had to. I couldn't help it.
One of us was going to do it.
They also added...
Terry's in chat right there. Isn't Frisia a villain in Dragon Ball?
That's Frieza. But they also added Korfball. I've never heard of fucking Korfball. And
okay, Johnny, if Sanguine hasn't heard of it, you and me definitely have no idea.
There's a goddamn good reason I've never heard of Korfball. Apparently, Korfball is played in the Netherlands, Belgium, and fucking Taiwan for some reason.
The Dutch used to be big in shipping.
Those are the main regions for Korfball. It's apparently like soccer but played with your head only. It's okay. So
I've actually okay. Now this actually comes into play here. Now this news. I actually saw them promoting that like a couple years back on Twitter. I've seen that. It's like a head soccer.
So apparently this one is very strange because it looks like I'm scrolling down and looking at pictures of korfball because I'm going, what the fuck is korfball? You can play it with your hands or you can play it with your head. It is inverse soccer. And then it has damn near a basketball hoop as the goal. It is inverse soccer mixed with basketball. That is the best way I can explain what the fuck korfball is, apparently. And it is a mixed gender competition. So you have 4 men, 4 women when you're playing korfball.
That,
like I said, you just end up with a bunch of really fucking weird sports being added. And the countries will choose the sport that they think, yeah, we can fuck up everyone else in this.
Like, see, this is, you only get one. How about that? You can pick one goofy sport. You can't be, adding 5, 6 of them like that. This is not ESPN 8 the Ocho, okay? It's the Olympics.
Well,
and people watch this shit anyway.
Apparently recently it is, because they've been adding between 3 and 5. And the planned ones are adding 3 and 5 as well. But it used to be you would add 1 or 2, and then Paris fucked it up and decided, no, we're adding 6. Because Paris in apparently 1924 added 6 sports. One of them was something that sounds oxymoronic because it was a French martial art.
Surrender?
No.
See, I couldn't help it. I had to.
Oh no, that one I'm perfectly fine with because that does seem to be their primary
skill
when it comes to martial arts.
But hair conditioner for Frisians, that was a bridge too far. Okay.
That was just a cheap shot.
I did find this and it's funny. So I am going to read this one.
Did you find a write-up for korfball or something?
Korfball needs a sexier image. Dutch associate plans campaign.
Nice.
Oh, that's from 2017. Yeah. I'm sure they've changed their tunes about needing sexier anything.
Korf anything, yeah.
Are they asking for a Korf Bikini League?
Let's see. A popular Dutch sport which men and women play in mixed teams of 8, working on giving a game a sexier image, the Telegraph said to on Wednesday.
I suggest more squats. Everyone could do with a firmer glute.
Korfball, invented by Amsterdam scholar Nico Forenward in 1902, is similar to netball and is one of the few sports that men and women play together in one team. The aim is...
netball sounds suspiciously like basketball. We're going to check this one out next.
Like I said, it ends up being a weird combination of inverse soccer and basketball.
See, the aim is to get the ball into the korf, or bottomless basket, or basket, as it's called, which is mounted on a 3.5 meter high pole. I don't know how tall that is, but just gauging by the sounds of it, it looks tall.
Can we see one of these baskets real fast? Because I think we may have had one of these deals set up at my school, but nobody. Oh no, not like that. Never mind.
That's 12 foot 2 inches, plus or minus, because 1.85 5 is 6'1" in meters, if I remember correctly.
Well, I know they had the one with the huge hole, and they had like the 3 other holes.
Yeah. That's what we had at my school when I was growing up.
Yeah.
This, I never heard of.
Let's see. The sport is played in some 60 countries, while other sports clubs are facing a decline in membership. You don't say. Korfball memberships in the Netherlands hovers around a stable 95,000.
Okay, now if we said, hey man, there are 95,000 people in the U.S. that like to play this sport, do you know what most everyone would say to that statement? It's not a sport. That's a game. If you if you can't get more than 95,000 people, no, that's a game. It doesn't belong.
You
to the
have to
Olympics.
remember
Sorry.
how much smaller the Netherlands population is, though.
Well, I mean, they're saying 60 countries and declining numbers, and they're stabilized at 95,000. They got a few million people in the Netherlands.
I think it's
Like maybe
low,
3, 4.
Yeah, I think it's really low millions, if that.
Let's see. Nevertheless, Korfball Association KNVK wants the sport to be more popular, both nationally and internationally. That is why the association is launching a campaign to rid the sport of its traditional cheesy image. Between April 3rd and 16th, members are invited to come up with ideas to make Korfball more sexy.
Strip Korfball. There.
They are absolutely pitching bikini Korfball. You can't tell me with that description that they aren't trying to angle for bikini Korfball.
One team scores a goal. A member of the other team's got to take off item clothing. Strip Korfball. You're welcome, Netherlands. I did that in like 5 seconds. Didn't even have to think about it that hard.
The only problem is that it's a mixed gender sport. You could have one team that it's just all the men are naked and none of the women have taken off a goddamn thing.
Well, we'd have to alternate, for fairness.
I mean, it's inclusive that way, Sanguine. That way it appeals to the the she's, the gays, and the theys as well. See, man, you got to think ahead, dude.
The French martial art, by the way, is called Lacan.
Lacan?
Lacan.
So everybody Lacan can?
It is apparently a cane-based fencing. Rather than using a sword, you use a cane. And then it's fairly similar to fencing from there, it looked like.
So it's just poor fencing. Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
How big are these?
France
how big are
in
these
the
canes?
interim war period.
How big are these canes?
Let me pull up the.
I mean, is
again.
it really going to hurt when you get a good thwack, or is it just going to be like a little sting, kind of? Or are they just poking each other? Are they just poking each other with sticks?
I'm pulling up images for Lacan, if I can. Which there is one. Okay, there is one image of Lacan when you look at the Wikipedia page, which I find funny that there's only one on its fucking Wikipedia page. Let's see if I can find additional Lacan images. I can find Lacan images from apparently a manuscript teaching you how to.
Well, I mean, this I can just use my general excuse of this. It's French and it sounds stupid, so I'm not interested.
Okay, I am pulling up a very shitty image of a Lacan manual page. And it's very shitty because it was a tiny, tiny image for some goddamn reason.
That was netball.
Yeah. Terry asked, he's like, isn't that just basketball without dribbling or backboard? Yeah, pretty much. So even less appealing.
McCann.
And a smaller hoop. So you're learning how to whip someone.
It's a stick.
It's poking each other with sticks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Could not get to the mute button in time.
Yeah, it's the size of a cane. That's how big the stick that you're using for Lacan is.
So about as thick as a thumb? Yay? Nay? More?
About
less?
as thick as a thumb, maybe a little bit more. About as long as your leg to just below your hip.
So a bunch of French guys in the 20s were practicing for the Olympics by beating their wives, is what you're telling me.
Damn near, yes.
Okay.
So it was a fairly standard day in France. But yeah, that is Lacan. And like I said, the weird sports always come in with the exhibition sports for the Olympics, which is why I am really for the exhibition sport portion of the Olympics, because that's when it becomes interesting.
Nah, count me out. You know, if Camel's king for a day, you get one, and don't be daft with it.
Come on, you don't want to have them do Glima?
I don't even know what that is, so no.
Nordic folk wrestling.
Is this like the Turkish oil wrestling? Because no, I don't want to see that either.
Now you grab each other by the waist and you try to throw each other as far as you can. It's a Nordic game. It's of course going to be martial, and let's see who can throw who farther.
Okay, maybe. I mean, that sounds better than poking each other with sticks.
Yeah.
And again, you know, I still stand by what I said earlier about fencing. You know, it's I will give you probationary status, Sanguine, because you seem to enjoy it, but for the most part, no. Like, no. It's outdated. We don't need it. No.
I do think that,
like I said, make it track and field, the marathon, and the martial events. You know, like like karate, taekwondo, judo, whatever, wrestling, boxing, that kind of stuff. Okay, you know, we just cut the Olympics down from like 2.5 weeks or whatever to like a couple of days.
I do think
that will hold my attention way easier.
I do
than
think
all the other bullshit they've got going on now.
I do think it would be far more interesting if rather than doing foil fencing, we did saber fencing, or fuck it, just go full blown HEMA.
I mean, if you're gonna keep fencing, I want it to look like the fucking Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You know, I want some dude from some third world country, you know, like on bloody stumps trying to get on the medal stage. You know,
I don't think that you're quite allowed to mutilate and maim your opponents in the Olympics.
How bad do you want to be a winner, Sanguine? That's all I got to ask you. How bad do you want it?
I'm just saying, I think that other countries would have a problem with that. I would find it interesting as hell. But I don't think that's going to make it past the Olympic Committee.
Again, I said if Camel was king for a day, you know, I got to find some way to amuse myself by thinking of the Olympics. You might as well, you know, just go hard. Fencing with midgets. I mean, are there enough to represent all the countries for fencing? Because I mean, I might be tempted. You know, same rules still apply though.
Has at least a handful of midgets.
Yeah, but are they willingly choosing to go do fencing? You know,
it depends on the country.
Well, if Peter Dinklage has anything to say, no one will be fencing.
I say we nominate Peter Dinklage for the first fencing event, of the Midget Olympics or whatever.
It's a much shorter competition.
I don't appreciate that one bit.
Too bad.
Frisians. Frisians was too far.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got different standards.
Even funny.
Oh, come on. I got at least one laugh out of it.
Oh man.
And Cannibalistic Wizard is correcting you. No, he meant fencing with midgets, not midgets fencing. So rather than using a foil, you would use a midget.
Oh, so you're just slinging Peter Dinklage by the ankles.
Yep.
Like a pillow fight.
I'm intrigued. Although, aside from Peter Dinklage, how many other midgets can you name off the top of your head that you would want to see them get their skull cracked by, some dudes using them as a well, what do you even call what do you even call the defending sword?
A foil. I keep on using it. I've said a foil many times.
I heard you say it the once, and I did not put two and two together.
There's Tony Cox you can use.
Yeah.
Wait. The dude from Bad Santa?
Yes.
Nah, man, he was one of my favorite parts of Me, Myself, and Irene.
The light fencing sword is a foil. You can also do saber fencing.
Warwick, what's his name?
Warwick Davies.
Yep.
Davies.
I think it's Davies, isn't it?
I thought it was Davis. The dude from Willow?
Yes.
Yes.
I could have swore it was Davis. I could be wrong. I could have been wrong this whole time.
The dude from Willow and from the original trilogy Star Wars. And
wait, what did he play in Star Wars?
He was one of the Ewoks.
Oh, okay. I never really thought of the Ewoks as people. I always just thought of them as like teddy bears, pretty much.
Yeah, he was one of the teddy bears.
I just assumed that was like animatronics, dude.
And that also assumed that you consider midgets people.
I mean, I do, but they were dressed up like teddy bears.
But short people got no reason, man.
Let's see here. And then there's Brad Williams.
Okay, I don't want to see Brad Williams getting used as a foil. He's funny. And you're thinking of Vern Troyer. Yes, Mini-Me. Vern Troyer has since passed away.
They got little hands and little eyes, and they walk around telling great big lies.
Wait, Mini-Me still alive?
No, I thought he was dead.
Vern Troyer... no, oh, sorry. I was thinking Wee Man when I said Mini-Me just now.
Oh, no, Wee Man's still alive.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. I mean, good for him. I just assumed he would have been dead by now. There again, though, I didn't really have high expectations for any of the Jackass boys.
Danny Woodburn?
I'm drawing a blank on that name.
He was Angelo on Death to Smoochie.
I don't think I've actually ever sat down and watched Death to Smoochie.
Oh, you should. Death to Smoochie's good.
And then there's Left Cheek and Right Cheek.
I've always been meaning to get around to it. I just never actually sat down and it just always slips my mind. What, Left Cheek and Right Cheek? You see, aside from Peter Dinklage, I'm having a hard time giving the thumbs up to any of these people being beaten to death pretty much.
There was the one dwarf from the UK that came out in favor of what Dinklage said, and also ranted and railed against the dwarves from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Okay, but he's so insignificant. You have to say that other dwarf from the UK.
Yeah, I don't know their fucking name. I just know that there's a dwarf that wrote a article for the Telegram saying that I too am a dwarf, and I too am annoyed that other dwarves are able to get hired.
Yeah, well, I've got a dwarf professional wrestler that says otherwise, so meh.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Hornswoggle right there. This is on the list. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, okay. I mean, aside from Dinklage and this other unnamed British dwarf, we got two, so we can have a first and second place.
Oh, there's that chick from House.
Chick from House.
She played she played the mother of a girl who was sick, and like she was, I don't know, she's being treated for dwarfism when she actually wasn't even a dwarf. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that a long time ago. Don't recall that episode.
Let's see, Martin Kleba.
Yeah.
From
not ringing a bell.
Shit. I believe it was Corky Romano.
Wait. The Chris Kattan movie?
Yes.
I don't recall a midget in that movie. I mean, I do recall, sadly, like Peter Falk and Chris Penn and Peter Berg. Like, there were good people in that movie, and it was shit.
Oh no, it was a total garbage movie.
Oh, a complete trash heap. But I don't recall a midget in that movie.
Let's see if I can. Let's see.
Wait.
There he is.
Did it have anything to do with strippers?
Or
like a dance club or something?
Yeah, there was a club that they had that professional wrestling lady, and he was trying to get in. Chris Kattan was trying to break into it, and then like they're beating the shit out of him, and then they find out that he's who he is.
Mm.
I will.
Okay, vaguely am recalling.
Here's the picture.
Oh yeah. Okay, see, I thought that scene was in a different movie for some reason. Like, I don't have a movie necessarily in mind. I just thought it was a different movie.
I really wish that someone could pull the strings so that every time Dinklage is on screen now, Randy Newman's short people's playing behind him.
There's Tattoo.
Tattoo's been dead for ages.
Well, you can dig up his body and use him as a weapon. That's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, how long's it been? Decades at this point. I mean,
if we want to truly,
we're talking like a mummified corpse or just bones at this point.
Just bones.
Yeah, if we're talking just bones, then you might as well just add Lacan back to the competition.
and
yeah, because I mean, it's not even really going to be fencing at that point if you're just using like a midget femur.
And Mini-Me.
Yeah.
Might as well use him too.
That's gonna be like a knife fight more than fencing.
Let's
So,
see.
Why you just have the two
denying-
competitors like tie a leather strap to their wrists and go all beat it?
Camel, are you denying that if there was a knife fight in the Olympics, you wouldn't tune in to watch the knife fight?
I mean, I tune in for knife fights, Russian roulette, something keep it interesting. Yeah.
Let's see. Then there's Phil Fondacaro. He was also from Willow.
Yeah, not putting a face to the name.
The entirety of the Lollipop Guild.
Okay, I'm fairly certain
Oh, and he's
they're
also
all dead too.
he was the
Yeah, they're all dead.
he was the troll.
Do you know how long it's been since I've seen Willow?
And by the troll, are you
I
talking
mean, like
about
mid '90s.
the troll in
86 troll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen Willow since the mid '90s. Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy. He's got to be dead too, right?
He was Kramer's friend, wasn't he?
Is that dude still kicking around?
I feel like he was in Seinfeld.
Let's see.
Are we just gonna go down a list of like all the midget actors?
Apparently.
No, he's still alive.
Was he in Seinfeld?
Again, I mean, aside from Dinklage, I can't imagine using anybody else as a foil at this point. So I'm sorry. Was it cannibalistic? Brought up yeah, fencing with midget. Sorry, cannibalistic. No midget fencing at the Olympics under my regime.
No, he is not.
Who's the midget that was in Seinfeld? Because there was a midget in Seinfeld.
You know, as often as I see people talk about Seinfeld, I feel like I really should have watched it as a kid now. Just to, I don't feel like going back and watching a '90s show now. You know,
better than the current shows.
I don't doubt that, but that's an indictment of current TV, not necessarily saying, oh yeah, this was actually really good.
Danny Woodburn.
Okay. It was a very good show for what it was. And Terry knew it.
Didn't they say that it was a show about nothing?
Yes.
And you're saying it was very good for what it was?
Yes, it was very good because it had a lot of rather funny episodes. Pretty much every episode is quotable from the series.
Hey, Addy.
I mean, I enjoy like the Festivus memes and whatnot.
Yep.
And Jerry Stiller was a national treasure.
Yeah. All of the episodes, like I said, are effectively quotable from it. I can't think of a single episode that you would be able to go, yeah, that one can just be thrown away. So I'd say that it is a good show, and it is something that would be worth going back and watching if you've never seen it. And it's something that's worth going back and watching as well.
Yeah, I might go back and watch it on the strength of that recommendation. Maybe. The girlfriend and I have gone through and watched some of the, like my favorite shows here recently. Just gone back and watched some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I got on a kick here lately of going back and watching Justified, because apparently they're doing a limited series, bringing back the character of Raylan Givens.
Mm-hmm.
And also iZombie for some reason. Like when I was laid up sick a couple weeks back, like those are the two things I was sitting there watching.
Now that show just looked like shit from the ads.
What?
iZombie.
It's actually I thought it was all right. You know, it's a comic book. It's based off a comic book anyway. Which, if I'm not mistaken, Quiz said one of the guys they actually plugged iZombie on comic book curation in the long ago. But it's a decent, you know, for it being a CW show, it's not half bad in my opinion. It's only like 3 or 4 seasons long. So, it's got Steven Weber in it.
Really?
Johnny? Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Huh.
He's like an over the top energy drink company CEO.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of villains in shows lately.
I mean, wasn't he also in like NCIS New Orleans or something?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing him when we were stuck up in Tulsa watching Ion. But yeah, he's he's funny in it. They got a dude, Malcolm Reynolds. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good actor. and then the main character was her name, Rose McIvers. When she's not made up, all pale like her zombie self. I mean, it kind of has that Amy Adams kind of look. Pale zombie though, it actually worked for me. That's like, that's actually an upgrade to me.
Oh my god. No.
What?
Just looking up. I tried to look up iZombie to see who's on the list, and there's a bunch of Disney shit that are popping up. I'm like, nope.
Did you get a shit ton of iCarly instead?
No, it's they're making like a zombie cheerleader thing for Disney.
A zombie cheerleader thing for Disney?
I don't know. I could not care less.
Well, there was a running gag on the show. They had a show within the show called was it Zombie High School or Zombie High or something like that. It's supposed to be like a joke on the Walking Dead or whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. Apparently, it is nothing like the comics. So might actually have to go see if I can pick up a few issues and check out the comic. See how wide of a departure they made.
And yeah, is it a good thing that it's nothing like the comic, or a bad thing that it's nothing like the comic? Or is it kind of like the various versions of The Hitchhiker's Guide, where, yeah, they're each different. Enjoy them for what they are. Fuck it.
Well, I only recall like two differences that Quiz told me about. I think one of them was the show is set in Seattle, Washington, and the comic is set in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And then in the show, she works as a assistant medical examiner in the morgue. And in the comic, I believe she is a grave digger. So, other than that, I don't know how much different they are, like in their writing. But again, if you're if you're taking like a sick week or something, it's something to binge.
And those aren't massive differences from the sounds of it.
I mean, not huge leaps, no, but still. I remember did you guys ever watch that show Preacher on AMC?
I did not. I've heard really good things about it.
I watched the first part of this up to the first part of the second season.
The guy that they cast for Jesse Custer, I liked him just fine. I can't remember what his name was. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Dominic. Shit, I forgot it. Yeah, I lost it.
Cooper.
But yeah, huh?
Cooper. Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, he's a good actor. But they changed. This is one of those comic book shows that was produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Yeah. So like I watched the first season, and it was like, read the comic book. Like my library system, they had like the whole series in trade paperbacks or whatever. So read the comic book. A lot different. Like the only thing that they really seemed to get right in the show compared to the comic books was like the bad guys. They made like the main female character, they made her black for some reason, which I mean, okay, I guess. But the character itself is not likable at all.
Okay.
The guy playing Cassidy,
I might have been thinking about a different show then.
he was okay. Well, are you familiar at all with the comic book Preacher, Sanguine?
Yes.
Okay. Because like, was it Rogan and Goldberg? They've done a few different things You know, like there was that one based off a comic book. I think they also did the were like executive producers on Invincible. I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I think they're doing Darkwing Duck next.
Yeah.
Why must they touch my childhood?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's getting to the point now where we're rolling into they're going to start just remaking all the '90s shit.
Only it's going to be bad. They're going to
yeah, it's gonna be worse.
make all the '90s shit, only make it suck because Darkwing Duck was amusing. It wasn't the best show ever, but it was a good show for the age bracket that it was going for. And I'm just hoping that they stay away from the things that are goddamn classics like Gargoyles, the New Adventures of Batman, the new animated Adventures of Superman, and all those, because those were fucking amazing. And if they did those now, they would just fuck up every single character in all of them.
Well, like I remember a guy I know. He his girlfriend's kid was watching. He had him watching the new Animaniacs or whatever. I was like, why don't you have him watch the original ones?
I forgot that they remade that.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
I only caught like a small clip of it while I was like walking through. I was like, what's the Animaniacs? Like, yeah, it's the new one. I was like, why not just have him watch the old one? It's like, oh well, it's made by the same guy and everything. It's like, yeah, but it's 20 years later. It's like it might be okay, but I just don't trust them. I don't trust any remakes, reboots, none of that.
Yeah, I had my boys watch the old ones.
Now, see, if I had a kid, I don't even know if I'd let them watch the old ones until a certain age. Like, we're starting off with like classic fucking cartoons, man. We're talking Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all that shit. Move on, Tom and Jerry, so on and so. Like, there's gonna be a progression,
Going to shield your children from fingerprints for a while?
That is the route that I took with my kids. It was, started off Looney Tunes, and the kids still like Tom and Jerry. I dabbled in Animaniacs. They're not so much fun of the Batman the Animated Series, but they'll warm up to that one.
Yeah, that's one that is definitely for a little bit older than the others.
I mean, I'd get them, like I said, start off with Looney Tunes and all that jazz, like the wolf and the sheepdog, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Morning Fred, morning Sam. Move on to maybe like the old like Disney classics, and then eventually work into Animaniacs and Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life, all that stuff that I grew up with. But yeah, I wouldn't want them watching anything from today.
How far back in the Disney classics are you going to go? Are we talking like we're going to start with Steamboat Willie, or are you talking more
Song of the South?
I mean, if you can get your hands on a copy, Johnny, sure. Like, good luck breaking into the vault for that one. But
have either of you ever actually seen Song of the South?
No, I've only ever heard of it. I've never sat down and watched it.
Nope.
So it's actually good.
Yeah.
One of those things that people locked it away because it's racist, and when you watch it, you're going, "This isn't really racist." Do you know why they claim that it's racist?
The Crows?
No,
That's Dumbo.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah,
they claim that Song of the South is racist because it shows black people that are in the antebellum South, if I remember correctly. So, just kind of around that, are they slaves or are they free and working? Kind of that time frame. And it shows them not hating the white people and the white people not hating them. But there's still a class distinction of, yeah, they own this property, we're working the property. This kid's coming around, we're going to treat the kid nice. And we'll say, morning, ma'am, good evening, ma'am, that type of shit. And it's because it is showing a more pleasant view of the South during that time period that it is being called racist. That is entirely the reason that it's being called racist.
Yeah, I've never actually watched that, but I was thinking like the I would probably stop with the Disney movies before we got to like the Toy Story Holocaust one.
3?
3 that you're talking about?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, everyone's holding hands as they're making their way towards the oven.
Yeah. Towards the furnace. Yeah. So yeah, I'd probably cut it off before then. And then, we get into Animaniacs and Ren and Stimpy and Rocco.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I
Doug.
said, actually pretty damn good. It's just people are really too fragile. There's one part which I'm amazed isn't the part that people are calling racist, because it is always how they depict the live action black actors with the live action white actors. That is always the complaint. No one ever seems to mention the fact that there's one part, Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby. That's one of the segments of the movie. But it's a baby actually made of tar. It is a dummy that Brer Bear and Brer Fox made out of tar in order to capture Brer Rabbit. So that's the reason why it's called And the Tar Baby. It isn't actually this is Brer Rabbit and the Black Man. No, it isn't that. It is Brer Rabbit and the baby that is made out of tar.
See, when you said that the first time, I immediately went to like the old SNL skit of like Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor doing the job interview.
Let me know how you feel about these words.
Doing a little word association. Oh man,
I miss when SNL could actually make good jokes.
I stopped paying attention to SNL probably around high school, so early 2000s.
So about 5 or so years after, because I think Phil Hartman died in the mid-90s, right?
Yeah.
94, 95, something like that.
Yeah, so about 5 years after Phil Hartman died. Yeah, I'd say that Phil Hartman was one of the last of the best.
There is a guy on iZombie that reminds me a bit of Phil Hartman.
Oh?
I don't know the actor's name. I have to pull up the credits. Oh, okay. So it's a 2015 show originally, and it's a lowercase I, Johnny, like iPod or something. iZombie. Let me see. Where is that guy? Are they not? They're not going to have him listed up here, are they? It's got was it Robert was it Kepner? Uh, he's been on a bunch of stuff. Was it Prison Break, Heroes? Um, he plays a good bad guy. Let's see, all the cast and crew. How far do I got to scroll on this?
Robert Nepper. Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Let's see. But no, this actor he plays a guy named Johnny Frost. He's the local like channel whatever weatherman. Oh, his name's Darian Norris, and the character he's playing, Johnny Frost, it just strikes me as like a Phil Hartman type character, because he's telling everybody what the weather's going to be like. He's a local celebrity, and he's also a complete degenerate.
Nice.
Just like maxing out credit cards on like strippers and escorts and massages and all kinds of pharmaceuticals and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, like I say, Phil Hartman. That was I would say 94, 95, somewhere in there. So about 10 years after he died. Yep, high on cocaine and pills.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, his old skits are some of the best that SNL has ever had. There was one where it was, you remember the SNL fake commercials
Uh,
that they would do mid-show?
Oh yeah.
kind of. I was just looking at Phil Hartman's IMDb. So I married an axe murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just the way he does that scene, just deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
One of the fake commercials that they had Phil Hartman do was for the latest in luxury cars that is designed to ensure that your car is never broken into. And it shows this absolutely beat to shit car. The car's rusted here and there. He places a marble in the very center of the roof of the car, and it rolls to one side, falls through a hole. You hear it clink and clank and clink and clank, and then it rolls out the tailpipe. And
I'm mistaken. It was not 94, 95. It was 1998 that he passed away.
But yeah. So it rolls out the tailpipe. The windows are just covered in shit and grease and crap like that, to the point where you can't see into them. And he's talking about how on the outside it is one of the worst pieces of shit that you could ever imagine. And he's just describing all the damage to the vehicle and all the defects and all that type of info. And then gets about halfway through the fake commercial, and he opens up the door, but on the inside, you're living in the lap of luxury. And it's just this ridiculously plush interior with real leather seats and just beautiful mahogany for its dashboard and all that type of shit. It is perfect because he plays it completely straight the entire time. Just letting the visual gags and the jokes in his lines speak for themselves without him trying to really ham it up.
I just love that one particular line. Now, this is something the other tour guides won't tell you. In this particular cell block, Machine Gun Kelly had what we call in the prison system, a bitch. Mm-hmm. And one night, in a jealous rage, Kelly took a makeshift knife, or shiv, and cut out the bitch's eyes. And if that wasn't enough retribution for Kelly, the next day, he and 4 other inmates took turns pissing into the bitch's ocular cavities. This way to the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
My name is John Johnson, but everyone here calls me Vicky.
Phil Hartman just gave those perfect flat reads, which made those lines.
No, man, that's not from The Rock. That's from So I Married an Axe Murderer. But yes, they were at Alcatraz, if that's what you mean by The Rock. Oh man, it's about 12:30, and we're reading IMDb movie quotes.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna have to call it. We'll move on to parting thoughts. Sanguine?
You want to go? Oh, okay. I'll leave off with my standard. If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
All right. And Camel?
Well, since I already have So I Married an Axe Murderer pulled up, I'll quote a couple lines from it. Do you actually like haggis? No, I think it's repellent in every way. In fact, I think most Scottish cuisine is based on a dare.
Let's see.
Look at his head. It's humongous. What's he gonna do? Go and cry himself to sleep on his enormous pillow? It's as big as Sputnik.
Head, pants, now!
Yep.
I was trying to find one for...
Terry, a woman. Whoa, man. Whoa, man. Harriet. Sweet Harriet.
There's so many to go with, but I can't think of one. But
that's definitely going on the if we ever do a movie night movie list.
So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I assume you're keeping a list, right? I keep throwing these suggestions out there and we never do them.
What's the point of keeping a list if we don't do them?
Eventually, someday, maybe. I don't know.
It's going on the list of things that I'll go.
I've said it before. I'm the idea guy. Somebody else has got to follow through.
I will go with just a picture.
Caveman lawyer. You have to zoom in on a little bit for it.
There we go.
There we go.
Just a
caveman lawyer.
That was one of my favorite sketches.
Mm-hmm.
And on that, the zoo is closed. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, all.
Bye, everybody.